The topic for today's presentation is maintaining high standards in academic institutions. These are some of the best practices, of course, and it comes across all institutions, not just the AGI, Marcus, or any other AMRS or whatever institution, any academic institutions that we go to. Analyzing the core parameters, we're talking about some core parameters. There can be more of it, there can be more innovations, there can be more creativity. I'm not saying that these are the only parameters. There can definitely be more, and we will be definitely in the future we'll be talking about more creative things and more innovative things. But as of now, we have got a few. This is in tandem to modern psychological, educational psychologies, where it's known as the triangular approach, where the top priority is given to the, as you can see on the top of the triangle, we have got the students as the top priority. Therefore, it has been strategically placed at the top of the triangle. And teachers and parents as the base. Teachers, and we include the principal also among the teachers. The teachers and the parents as the base, and students given the top priority. And this is in tandem with the humanistic approach that we talked about in my earlier presentation. This is also vis-a-vis what the director sir says, the students been given the top priority, and we must execute it accordingly. So this is what is known as the student-centered approach, with top priority given to students. The student-centric approach, not the management-centric or the administrative-centric. Traditionally, it has been management-centric and administrative-centric, where the focus is on the top guns. Who are the top guns? The top guns are the management, the top guns are the administrative people who wield all the powers. Not anymore. In modern educational psychologies, the top priority is always given to the student. So therefore, the student-centered approach with top priority given to students. I always insist on this, and this is not slightly, it has got a great bearing of what director sir said the other night. This is known as the teaching learning process, the humanistic approach and motivation. What I say is a humanistic approach is that teaching the class, when we approach the classroom, we should not see the classroom as a place where we are there to complete a particular syllabus in a stipulated time. That is not the case. We tend to forget the thing that the students or the learners that we are dealing with are human beings with different psychological needs, with different emotional needs. So therefore the humanistic approach, where we tend to look at it from the human approach. As you can see, humanistic approach tend to see learning as a process which engages the whole person and not the educational content. This is what I insist upon. It's not the educational content. I have seen teachers from day one, we need to finish the syllabus, we are worried about the results, so day one they are bang on with the syllabus, with the content of the syllabus. We often forget about the psychological needs, the psychological conditioning of the students. And we often forget about creating the environment. When I say creating the environment means when we approach for the first time in a batch to a classroom, they are new students, we need to create that rapport. We need to create the environment where they feel easy, where they feel the teacher is approachable, and we can share our emotions and also our academic things with him or her. That is what I call the creating the environment. Creating the environment for a conducive teaching learning process. Where they will, of course, the third and the fourth are related to it. They should feel secure and safe in your presence and not threatened by your presence. Of course, the last one is relaxed and happy. Unless they are relaxed and happy, the teaching learning process gets severely affected. Now coming back to our core parameters. We have been following this for quite a long time, but sometimes it is not implemented, or sometimes it is partially implemented, or sometimes it is implemented to a great extent but not 100%. This is the daily report. And the daily report is supposed to be done by every college on a weekly basis. It is to be, these daily reports come to the AGI, and we coordinate and monitor each and every college by this daily report. This daily report is important tool by which our colleges or institutions are monitored regularly for a better coordination with the AGI. Some of the few things that the daily report has: the attendance of students. On a daily basis, we monitor the attendance of students, the attendance of teachers, and it has got also class observation, counseling of the students, fee updation if there are pending fees, etc., and any specific activity taking place in the institutions. So these are a few things. There are some more, of course. These are a few important things that are there in the daily report. So that's the importance of the daily report. This has to be given on a daily basis. If I understand the principals may be very busy and there are genuine situations, but you can always appoint somebody as the in charge who will do this daily report on your behalf so that the work is done. Even if you are occupied or even if you are very busy. The next thing will be the mentor-mentee programs. Mentor-mentee programs are supposed to be done weekly. Weekly program by which teachers are made mentors of very small groups. Man, these are not new things. We already in the process. These are all in the process. I'm just reiterating so that we can be fully functional and fully implementable to all those core parameters. Weekly program by which teachers are made mentors of small groups of students. By small groups of students, 5, 6, 7 students are given to teachers whom they mentor, whom they counsel academically or even for non-academic and anxiety-related or psychological issues also. They serve as a counsel monitoring 360-degree progress of their students from academics to emotional issues. There are lots of, in modern times, there are lots of stress-related or emotional issues also. This has come parallel to academic things. So the importance is also parallel to academics. Number 3, of course, separate registers are to be maintained by each mentor teacher. This is divided into separate teachers. Separate teachers are being mentors, and they must ensure separate registers are to be maintained for each mentor teacher. These are the mentor-mentee programs. Attendance report. The attendance report is another core parameter of academics. What I mean to say, attendance report is this is to be done monthly, possibly or arguably at the end of the month. Absentees for more than 2 days. I have clearly defined it. 1 or 2 days is all right. More than 2 days. I mean 3 to above. 3, 4, 5, 6 days. If a particular student is absent, it is our responsibility and duty to inquire why he or she is absent. What are the issues, what are the problems, so that we can find out. 3 or more days are to be contacted on phone at the end of its meeting. And also the response of parents are to be recorded on a separate register. When you contact that person, when we contact that particular student and talk to parents, that the responses are to be recorded in separate registers so that we can have a record of what we are doing and this would be known as the attendance evaluation report, you can say, at the end of the month. Home visits, we are already, most of the colleges are already doing it. We can, they update photographs and other things, the other reports in the groups. They're already doing it, but we need to do it more consistently, more frequently, and more sincerely. Taking counseling and care for students to the next level by making home visits. What does the home visits do? It ensures the parents that we really care about their worlds beyond the campus or beyond the classroom. It helps in the checking background, counseling on academics, counseling on personal issues. If required, counseling can also be done on personal issues. And it has to be done more frequently and not a rare random visit. This is my insist. This is where I insist upon. Yes, a lot of colleges are doing it, but it should not be random visit. It should also have a record. The home visits should also have a record of how frequently you are doing it, And what are your findings? I have discussed this thing with a few principals across my college visits, but I have not been able to discuss or convey these things to majority of them. Yes, I have discussed it with a few, so that's the reason I have brought this thing again. We are creating two groups here. One, you can name it in your own way. The first is the very strong or the promising group. What is the purpose of the promising group? High potential students group to be nurtured and nourished for possible glory in the results of the institutions. We need to do it more in a more systematic way. High potential students, they are to be more nurtured, more nourished, because we identify them as high potential students and they can bring glory to our institutions. So this has to be made a separate group for which the necessities and the nurturing process can be decided by the respective principals, how to nourish and how to nurture them for potential very spectacular results. And the second group, of course, is the very weak group. By very weak, these are the potential, how should I say it, potential disasters. There are a few failures sometimes, and there are a few third divisions as well. At least we can ensure there is no disaster in terms of failures or third divisions, and if possible, eliminate the second division as well. But if not possible, on extreme cases, it may not be possible. I understand we are dealing with rural areas. It may not be possible, but we should be able to bring them back at least to the second division level. Of course, the target would be to bring them into the first division, but if not possible, the very weak group should be at least brought to the second division level. So these are the two special groups to be created so that our institutions can have these core parameters. English communication development. This where we all will agree to the fact that most of our institutions are in rural areas. The socio-economic background of the students are not to a category of a privileged ones. They come from vernacular backgrounds. So that's the reason we need more care for their communication levels, especially in English. English communication is a massive pragmatic issue in almost all our institutions because of the socio-economic background and the rural backgrounds. This I have already discussed. The second is, so communicative English initiatives are to be given to them in a comprehensive way. A separate timetable may be made. Separate timetable, this is for the principals to instruct the English, the teachers who are teaching English, and they would be able to do this particular thing. So communicative English, one teacher to be made in charge of this communicative English timetable and the entire program of communicative English. One teacher would be made in charge, and he or she will follow the particular timetable for English communication. Should be, and the most important thing is, I have found 2 to 3 colleges where this English communication level, English communication extra is going on. But it is more theoretical. The theoretical English will not serve the purpose, because the function here is not to teach a subject. What is the function here? Purpose here is to make them practically communicate in that particular language, make them efficient as a medium of instruction, and not to teach them as a subject. So what I have written is should be communicative, not theoretical, including language games. These things are very important. You can use language games, role plays, group discussions. English music will help a lot if they listen to it. English movies, English news. Encourage them to, the English teachers can be instructed to encourage students to listen to English news or anything related to English language. So those are practical aspects of teaching communicative English, of teaching communication with a separate emphasis. So this English communication development course has to be followed in each and every college. But this is a very important part and parcel because we have a particular situation where we are in rural areas. and most of the socio-economic background of the students are not at par with our more privileged counterparts. Those are the core parameters of academics that should be followed, that are already there are many parameters we have been following those parameters. Principals are kindly requested to take it very seriously and to follow it up as sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, or sometimes monthly, and sometimes about the English communication level. Thank you so much for patiently listening.